All right, okay, Mark Burgess here, Big East Bass Fishing. This is part 2 of the BASS Nation Qualifier up on Lake Champlain. Okay, so first one, as you saw, hopefully you did. If not, I detailed my entire practice, pre-practice, which I spent, say, 2.5 days pre-practice, and then there was a official practice ahead of the tournament. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday was a half day of practice, and as you saw, I didn't get a chance to really practice Tuesday because I was repairing the broken trolling motor. Okay, so I'll start off with, I'm completely rigged up, ready to go, and I'll go through these baits again if you didn't see the baits in the practice video. I was very focused on what I was doing. Very focused. Flip and stick 95% of the time or more in my hand. I had a square bill for a little bit of it, which did not play in the tournament at all. I was fishing that up on the railroad bridge. I went to actually a chatterbait, half-ounce chatterbait, which I proceeded to lose like 5 of them. So yeah, that was that, and I'll talk about how that changed and what conditions I feel are best for fishing that kind of stuff. Any kind of cut like that, any kind of focused area, funnel area. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So the flip and stick, 7.5 foot, medium heavy, either 20-pound fluoro like Seaguar, a Braze X, something like that. Or 50 to 65 pound test braid. Okay, so high speed reel, there's the rod, there's the reel, 10 to 1, retrieve. I just need to gather up that line to, make another presentation. The more times you can make a presentation, the more fish you're going to catch. Okay, it's just an odds game, really. So this is 20-pound test. Fluoro, I also use that on the jig rod. I'll show you the jigs as well again. But yeah, here's the setup. Here's the bait. Bobber stopper, always. I like to rig it. See, it's only about a 1/2 inch above the weight. Reason being is that in order for the hook, which is a 4/0 heavy duty BMC flipping hook, in order for that hook to do its job, this weight, which is this right here, is 3/8 ounce green pumpkin tungsten weight. Okay, has to move. It has to move. Okay, it's the only way that hook is getting where it needs to go. If it's pegged tight, you take the chance of just really pulling it out completely, popping the fish's mouth open, and pull it basically out of the fish's mouth, or not getting the hook penetration that you need. Okay, so creature bait, green pumpkin, as I talked about. I'll dip those tails in orange or color them with a marker, orange or blue, depending on the watercolor. Little off color, I see a lot of brim and stuff in the area, then I'll go blue. If it's crawfish, primarily orange. Okay, so that's one flip and stick. The other one, same rod, same reel, same line, same hooks, same weight. Other than it's a matte black finish, same bobber stopper, only black neon. I talked about this in the practice video. When water's off color and muddy and the sun's out, you want to go with a darker color. Okay, it just has more contrast. The jig, again, these rods are all 7/6 medium heavy. Now on the jig, I started out throwing this like a 3/8 ounce jig, then 1/2 ounce, and then all the way up to 3/4. I kept the 1/2 and the 3/4 stayed in the rotation. Green pumpkin jig. Trailer, I'll end up using the same bait as I'm flipping. Okay, the back end of it. Okay, so same kind of look. allows the jig to have a faster fall too. So this is 50-pound green braid, half-ounce jig. Right there. And then in some cases I used a 3/4 ounce jig, same jig and 3/4 ounce, but a little 6 cents trailer, moves a lot of water, really slows the jig down a little bit, because in my opinion the 3/4 was necessary to get through the vegetation, but I just needed to just slow it down just a tick. And then the chatterbait, this happens to be half-ounce black blue with the new Crush City trailer. The tournament I was throwing that Bee Height Delight, whatever they call it, which is white, green pumpkin, chartreuse color, and the painted blade. Okay, so that's the lineup. So the night before the tournament, I get the text, boat 77, flight 7. Okay, these 7s will come back up later on in the tournament. So I have no co-angle the first day. All right, so like I said, I'm 100% ready to go. Take off, not a problem. I run right up. My first stop is the railroad bridge, and the wind is cranking. Not 100% direct out of the south. There might have been a southwest mixed in there. On Champlain, N and S are bad if there's not a E or W mixed in there. If there's an E or a W, then it's not as bad. You can kind of maneuver and use the shoreline as your advantage in some places. Okay, but anyway, the lake flows north to south, and that's the way the current goes. Okay, but when the wind blows any time out of the south, southeast, southwest, it backs up the current. Okay, and the fish don't feed as well. They're still there, they still relate, but they're not set up to feed. Okay, and that's what happened. So I realized that it was very difficult for me to fish, and I didn't spend time on it because I knew it just wasn't right. So I went up to my primary area, and they were there. Okay, but I lost the first 2 fish that bit. One of them was big, real big, because I caught big fish. I mean, I caught a 6.4 in the tournament. I caught several 5s, a lot of heavy 4s to get the weight that I got. 62 pounds, 1 ounce was my total weight, 3 days. So that's crushing when you know you lost a big fish. Okay, and then I proceeded to lose the next one. The way I was fishing, that's going to happen. And I stayed calm. I knew that was a possibility, but I also knew how many fish were there and what I was on. I fished through the area, and I put 3 decent fish in the boat, like 3 3/4, something like that. And that was primarily, most of the fish were in that 3.5 to 3 3/4. And I ended up going back to where I first started in that area, and put instantly 2 more fish in the boat. So I had a limit, but it only weighed about 15 pounds, something like that. So the way the wind was, I was able to work my way back down. I had a couple stretches of docks, and I ended up culling up to 17 pounds, 6 ounces for that first day. Years ago, that used to be, if you had in a multiple day tournament, all the invitationals and the opens and stuff like that, and the Everstarts and FLWs that I've fished up there, if you were able to average 17.5 to 18, you were in the mix on a multiple day tournament, like a 3-day tournament. But it's actually better. The lake has improved over the years. So, back then, if you caught 15 pounds, you stub your toe. Now you catch 17.6, 18 pounds, 18.5 pounds, you're stubbing your toe. You need 19, 20. You have to have that in a multiple day tournament against that caliber of fishermen. Okay, I was a little bummed out, to be honest with you, because I knew what I had, and only coming in with 17.6, I knew it would be okay, and it was. I was in like 32nd, 33rd place. not far out of the top 20. So going into the tournament, my primary goal was to qualify for the Nationals, be in the top 20. After the first day, that was really my focus, okay? My goal, I did the math, and I figured I needed to have an 18.5-pound bag, a little more than a pound than what I had the first day, and I would be potentially bubble boy, okay? So second day, I had a co-angler, Kevin, phenomenal guy, blessed to have him, knows his way around the sport, been there, done that, knew exactly what the relationship was, never ever once threw up in front of the boat or something that I was going to fish, not one time. Helped me the whole day, whatever I needed. We get up to that primary area, and I ended up putting, like, I don't know what I had. It was good weight, like maybe 16, 17, 18 pounds, something like that, in the boat when I first pulled up. My first fish was like a 3.5. My second fish, it felt exactly like the fish that pulled off the first day, exactly like the fish I caught, one of the fish I caught, which is a 5 and change in practice. 6 pounds, 4 ounces. Boom, right? So started to put together a really good bag. We fished up through there, and both caught fish. Now, prior to that, I went to the railroad bridge, just because I knew what was there. There was a 20-pound bag of smallmouth there, multiple 20-pound bags of smallmouth there, if you could get them to bite. So I tried fishing it with the terrible conditions from the opposite side, and I could barely stand on the front of the boat, and it was terrible. He put 3 fish in the boat flipping it, which I wasn't doing that, so that it didn't compete with me at all. So I said, you know what, we're gone. So went to the juice. Should have gone there first, I realized that, but hey, sometimes you just get a decision and you got to roll with it. So had decent weight, came out of there, ran down that particular day, ran right back down to a stretch of docks that I had, and I put like a 5 in the boat, so I had a 6.4, a 5 and change, another heavy 4, almost 5, and I got up to, on my scale, wasn't exactly what I weighed at Bass, but I knew it was close to 22 pounds. It happened to be 21 pounds, 15 ounces. So that put me all the way up in the 7th. Again, here's the 7, boat 1, boat 77, flight 7. Second day, I end up going to 7th place. While we were up in the primary area, I lost my portside power pole. Again, my bad. A lot of the hardware fell out of it. It went all the way down. It wouldn't hinge up. I had to cut the lines to pull it up and wrap it up just to get back. So, okay, so I've made the cut, right? Did it. Qualified for the Nationals, primary goal. Okay, but now I notice I'm only 1.5 pounds out of first. So I smell blood in the water. I know what I'm on. And I draw my good friend, Sanko Sammy. I fish with Sammy a lot here at Mass Bass Pro-Am and other opens and things like that. So, very comfortable fishing around each other, done well. Each of us have done well fishing with each other. So, on boat 7, launch the boat, everything's great. Go through line, no running lights, no bow lights. You say, Mark, put your bow lights on. The bass staff switches on, mess with the switch, but it's lighted. Stern light's on. I carry a spare stern light. Nope, no bow lights. Oh man, pull out a line, go off to the side. Sammy says, and I know I've told this story before, but it's a good story. He says, you know, there's an app for that. I'm like, there's no app for that. Are you kidding me? There's an app for bow lights? Red and green bow lights. Yeah. Pulls it up, shows it to me. Wow. Get it. All right, it's $1. I need your credit card. Boom. Give me my credit card. Got to text my wife. Hey, no one's trying to hack our account for $1 because that's what they do. I had to buy something for $1. talk later. He downloads the app. I got no tape in the boat. I got these Velcro straps. He Velcros it to the front of the trolling motor, his cell phone. Go through lines. They're looking at us like, what is this? You talk about baling wire and duct tape, right? MacGyver, like, it's got MacGyver written all over it. Okay, you guys need some tape? Yeah, I mean, seconds to go. We had to stop working on it for the national anthem. Seconds to go. We tape it to the trolling motor, and you're supposed to keep it on to your first spot. And he's like, hey, the bass staff was great. Say, hey, you know, your first spot, which, you know, happened to be the outside of the break wall. Okay, so we go out, fish, take it off, boom, gone. Run right to the juice. No bridge, no nothing, right to the juice. Pull up, 5 flips, 19 and change in the boat. 5, just like that. Then I realized I got time. I'm fishing with Sammy, and neither one, Kevin or Sammy, I didn't want to. The way I was fishing, really, you know, it could have been difficult for the co-angler, but I didn't want that. So I realized, I said, you know, what we're fishing, these fish got to move around, and obviously they're reloading. Okay, so there's a ton of fish in this area, and they're moving around, so they're not just where I think they are. They're probably a lot more places, right? So we start actually fish. I got time. It's early. We literally ran to there, 5 casts. I got 19 pounds in the boat. He's got a couple. So we start fishing this milfoil edge, and I throw this black blue chatterbait and get a 4.98, just under 5. Call. Sammy's working on his flipping game. He's doing a great job with it too. He flips a black blue jig in the same kind of vicinity. Boom, like a 5.3. So we go up through there. We catch a few more, cull a little bit. I'm like, all right, I got a spot way over on the New York side, and the weather, it was flat. Other than the big cruiser boats, it was flat, right? Zoom, run down, cut over, back up, over across, over to the New York side, right? I need to make 1 cast on 1 spot. Pull up, line it up, make the pitch, 4 and change. Put them in the boat, cull. Running now to my set of docks, run right to the juice, right to the dock. Boom, cull again. Move down a few more docks, boom, cull again. Now I'm looking at the scale. 22 pounds, it like, on my scale, it was like 22 3/4. So bass weighed 22 pounds, 12 ounces. Sammy had a good bag as well. So we elected to leave about 20 minutes earlier. And again, it was flat, but there were so many of those big cruiser boats. And when you're out into the middle of the lake, when you got to go around Cumberland Head, you know, you just can't make time. Okay, I'd rather it be like a foot or 2, 1.5 2 foot chop, and I can just put it up on top and just go. But this was like, you know, it's like Winnie, if you've ever fished Winnie. It's just a cross chop everywhere, and you can't. So we took our time, didn't beat up, you know, the equipment or the fish or anything. Got in a little early. We were the first to weigh in. Sammy and I took the hot seats. He made it up into 5th place. He wanted a top 5. He got a top 5. I ended up just dodging one bullet after another, one hammer after another, and you can see that's the result. Okay, so that's how it went down. That's how I did it. It was a blessed week. You know, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And you know, I could just tell you, you know, it's just, you know, do your homework. Follow your gut, stay with your strength. I know a lot of people made a big deal out of this. Like, oh yeah, you know, my old school flip and stick beats the live scopers. I mean, I spent a little bit of time in the inland sea looking for that, okay? And it just wasn't coming together for me. And I have it on my boat. I have live on my boat. But I gotta tell you, that Humminbird Mega 360, money. Okay, I don't know how it's just like, you know, the trolling technology. Power poles, shallow water anchors, you know, spot lock trolling motors. This Minn Kota Ultrex, phenomenal. You know, it's just, you know, had a little misfortune with the cord, you know. But yeah, so just fish your strengths, okay, no matter what. Fish your strengths, okay, and when the things line up, good things happen. All right, so this is really long. I figured it would be less than half of this, but if you stayed with me this long, I appreciate it. Do me a favor and subscribe. It really would help a lot. So I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys out on the water real soon.